Can we play with him, Master? He seems so unhappy. Let us help him smile, please. Or at least, let us carve one on his face when he stops screaming. From Azila and Alures of Slaanesh. A Demonette, also known as a Maiden of Ecstasy, is a lesser demon of Slaanesh, the Prince of Pleasure and Chaos God of amoral pleasure. Also known as bringers of joyous degradation, harbingers of endless delights, the children of Slaanesh, and the seekers of decadence. Demonettes are all these things and more. Their physical appearance is confounding, at once impossibly twisted and shamefully intriguing. The hermaphroditic form of a demonette is both repulsive and nearly impossible for a mortal to turn away from. In battle, they are lithe, dexterous killers whose claws can tear their opponents to shreds, or allure their mortal victims into their clutches. When mounted upon the disturbingly graceful demonic mounts known as Steeds of Slaanesh, a demonette is called a Seeker of Slaanesh, who form the vanguard of the Dark Prince's demonic legions. These lithe, sensual beasts are swift and powerful and track mortals by tasting their desires in the air. Demonettes can gift their victims with a mixture of excruciatingly painful caresses and the most delicate and tender of killing strokes. Even in the most gruesome of conflicts, they smile in secret ecstasy as they go about their deadly work, delighting in the waves of emotion, pleasurable or painful, emanating from their enemies. Sometimes, Slaanesh is more delicate in his machinations, seeking to undermine the will of his foes, tempting them from their chosen path and removing their opposition to his cause. It will also dispatch demonettes to corrupt those he wishes to enslave. Using their seductive spells, they whisper into the dreams and nightmares of their victims, fueling their darkest desires with promises of glory and fulfillment. The warriors of the Chaos Space Marines are especially susceptible to this. Many a would-be conqueror has summoned a host of Slaanesh's handmaidens in the mistaken belief they will clinch a lasting victory, only to find it is he who is the pawn, and that his actions have a terrible cost. Now onto their history. Demonettes are the most numerous of Slaanesh's servants. They serve as courtiers and courtesans in his palace of pleasure in the realm of chaos, created to fulfill its every passing whim. They fill its throne room, lounging upon silken cushions, gossiping endlessly as they scheme to earn greater favor from their willful and fickle master. They are also Slaanesh's warriors and messengers beyond his realm. The Prince of Pleasure is given to extreme changes of mood, and when frustrated, it lashes out with its vast demonic legions, the legions of excess, sending its demonettes to tear down everything it finds repugnant, unsubtle, and crude, and replace them with artistic vistas of destruction. In battle, Demonettes can be seen dancing across blood-soaked ground, dead bodies forming a carpet beneath their clawed feet. Their honeyed voices are raised in joyous songs of praise to Slaanesh as they slay and maim in the name of agony and pleasure. As children of Slaanesh's degenerate dreams, they bring all it has to offer to the fore. Not all mortals yield to the temptations of the pleasures of the flesh. Some have deeper desires that are only discovered through more deliberate probing of their wills. All demonettes are inherent experts in peeling away the defensive walls that shield the desires of men and women, as well as other more alien beings, from discovery. If a mortal seeks adoration, these demons know the words of seductive guile to speak into his ears to cause him to lower his guard. If that man wants nothing more than to be recognized above his peers, the child of malice knows how to sweetly praise him for his achievements. There is no buried dream, no subdued ambition that a demonette cannot uncover and exploit. When it does, the focus of its attention is surely doomed to feel the tender caress of honeyed lips and razored claws. They are vicious in the extreme and never miss an opportunity to inflict a last twist on a foe's wound before they can die. Indeed, demonettes enjoy nothing more than playing with their prey, such as holding up an enemy's severed limb to show the shocked victim, or using their serpent strike speed to inflict dozens of cosmetic wounds to trace rude words in their target's blood. Each act of disfigurement and humiliation is met with shrill, keening excitement by all the demonettes, each trying to outperform the other in some extravagance. By doing such horrific acts, they can then drink in the terror and despair, tasting the raw emotions that fill the air. Now onto their appearance. The physical appearance of demonettes is confounding, at once impossibly twisted and shamefully intriguing. The hermaphroditic form of a demonette is both repulsive and nearly impossible for a mortal to turn away from. Their lithe bodies and entreating voices lure wayward souls to lower defenses and open up to ravenous, violent consumption from the jaws and jagged claws of the ladies of Slaanesh. This base allure is not, however, the only temptation they have at their disposal. They oftentimes appear vaguely feminine, with pale purplish skin. One of their arms will usually mutate at the elbow into a huge, crab-like pincer or other natural weapon. Demons of Slaanesh often have extraordinarily long prehensile tongues and may sport a single or multiple sets of female humanoid breasts, a particular mark of favor of the hermaphroditic prince of pleasure. A demonette's androgynous charm is heightened by a permeating sense of beguilement. This is heightened by the strange musk that hangs about them like a cloying perfume. Yet there is something about admiring their charms that causes self-loathing amongst any who view them. They are possessed of a hypnotic glamour, an aura that disguises their true forms, rendering them as alluring visions of perfection. Though their true forms are repulsive and terrifying, this supernatural power makes them appear as the ultimate beauty and object of desire in the eyes of mortals, regardless of their species, gender, or morality. None exposed to the lesser demons of Slaanesh forget the tide of living sensuality. It evokes both loathing and a perverse longing that forever gnaws at the minds of those who see them. In several earlier encountered manifestations, their features also included white, milky skin, bald heads, female breasts, sometimes several sets, narrow eyes, pointed teeth, and occasionally horns. Their legs end in bird-like three-talon claws, and they may have long, skithing limbs in place of one or both arms. They are quick, attractive, and fearsome. The most recent encounters between the Imperium and Demonettes have seen these demons' appearance changed. They now appear more closely to be female with writhing, tentacle-like hair. Rather than the crab-like claws of old, their talons are sickle-shaped, and as a whole, they appear far more attractive and seductive than their previous counterparts. So much so, in fact, that there are tales of soldiers refusing to fight when they catch a glimpse of their alluring beauty. The Seekers of Slaanesh. This way, sisters, there's the prey. I love it when they run. From Shil-Asar, leader of the hunt. Seekers of Slaanesh are a deadly combination of beauty, claw, and passion, which rides at the vanguard of many Slaaneshi demonic legions of excess, sweeping away opposing scouts and other light resistance. Some who stand in the path of Seekers are spared destruction and are allowed to join the armies of the Dark Prince if they show the proper appreciation and desire. These swift and powerful creatures possess swollen sensoriums that are utilized to taste fear, joy, or lust on the breeze from a mile away in order to track down their mortal victims. The steeds of Slaanesh that the Seekers ride upon use their long, prehensile tongues to dart out and ensnare their victims, shuddering in delight as they taste the mortal souls. Before the terrified morsel can struggle free, they are dragged towards the demonic beasts and their riders, whose fanged smiles and curving claws welcome them to an agonizing oblivion. And the Heralds of Slaanesh. The more privileged a demonette is, the more she pleases the Dark Prince, the closer to his throne she is allowed to approach. The most favored demonettes are his handmaidens, fastest and most deadly of Slaanesh's courtesans. Also known as the Heralds of Slaanesh, these demons are allowed on to Slaanesh's dais to feed him sweetmeats and stroke his androgynous body with their oiled claws. It is to these depraved creatures that it entrusts its more subtle machinations, for his greater demons are created primarily for excessive violence, rather than the delicacy that its ploys require on occasion. So it is that a Herald of Slaanesh leads the Dark Prince's followers in the ongoing dance, using her seductive spells to corrupt her foes and inspiring them to give in to their deepest needs. With promises of glory and self-fulfillment, the herald twists the aspirations and ambitions of her prey into self-obsession, paranoia, and madness, luring the victim into the indulgent road towards self-destruction and the furtherance of the Dark Prince's desires.